Okay, so now that we're kind of talking about skincare, you know what? I just realized that I always say okay, so like when I start off like anything. I'm sorry, but it's kind of just a habit. Anyways, so this is the cleanser that I am obsessed with. This is the Dr. Dennis Gross facial cleanser with toner in one. The reason why I love this is because I love, 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 love Dr. Dennis Gross skincare. It's amazing. It's like God's gift to earth. Swear to God. I love this one because it eliminates the need for buying a cleanser or a toner separate from your cleanser. I used to work for Lancome. I've tried all of their cleansers, all of their toners. They are really expensive and they're not that amazing. That's the reason why I love this, and I feel like it's not really that expensive. I think it was like $45, and this is a 6.7 ounce. So, I mean, this has lasted me about 6 months, which is really nice. A little bit goes a long way because it's different than other cleansers because you don't need to use water on your hands or your face before you use the cleanser. You put it on dry, and I use maybe like the size of a pea for my entire face, put it on dry, rub it in, rub it in, rub it in, and then after, let's see, I have dry skin, so it says 10 seconds for dry skin, 30 seconds for oily skin. So after about 10 seconds, because my skin is more dry, then I kind of go in with water, and it kind of just makes more like product. I love it because it takes off my makeup very easily. I use it on my eye area too to take off my makeup. It doesn't burn, doesn't do anything crazy, and I love it, love it, love it because it hydrates my skin too, but not too much, and it doesn't leave me feeling dry or anything of that nature. Also, moisturizers. I love trying out different moisturizers. I used to work for Lancome, like I said, so I worked in a department store, and I've tried Cliniques, I've tried Estee Lauders, I've tried Lancomes, I've tried Chanel's, everything. So I do like the Dr. Dennis Gross, the oil-free one. It comes in like a pump. That one is really nice too, but I'm also not like a high-end skincare snob or department store snob at all. I will go to the drugstore and try some stuff out, see how I like it. So right now I am using the Olay Fresh Effects. This is the Do Over. This is a gel moisturizer. Typically, gel moisturizers are for people with more dry skin. I'm sorry, more oily skin. But what I find with this one is I do get, it's like this little guy here. That's a lot of product in there, and I've only had it for, I don't know, maybe like a month, but I do really, really like it. I feel like it's perfect for all skin types because, like I said, I can't talk today. Gel moisturizers are more for people with oily skin. But I feel like definitely somebody would get awesome hydration. They wouldn't be left too like oily because it is a gel. But since I have dry skin, it is super, super hydrating, and it leaves my skin feeling like skin. I don't feel dry in any way or anything. So I definitely would recommend this for anyone who's looking for a good moisturizer, but maybe you don't want to spend a lot. I believe this is like $12 to $14 at Walgreens. Really good product and a great price too. So before I go ahead and start my foundation rituals, I want you all to look very closely at my skin. You can see that my dark circles are horrible. They are hereditary. They are the worst thing ever in the whole entire universe. But I do get a lot of like comments about my skin and how great my skin looks, but that is because I am really good at creating a very natural, flawless foundation look, and that is what I want to show you guys today because it's really easy, and I really want everyone to be able to know how to do it so that you guys can all feel just as confident as I am with my skin. So let's go ahead and get started with that. Okay, so you guys can see like how imperfect my skin is. And what I'm going to do first is I've already cleansed and moisturized my face with both cleanser and moisturizer that I just showed you guys. Now I'm going to prime with the Studio Perfect primer by NYX. I am kind of trying just the NYX products right now, just because it's something new that I've never tried before. And really what I'm doing with the primer is I just put like the size of a chocolate chip, and I'm just using that primer, rub it in my hands, and just as you can see, I'm just rubbing it all over my skin. This is a great primer because it doesn't feel like silicone based like a lot of primers do, and really my pet peeve is like really natural looking skin and foundation, so that's what I like, and it really just kind of leaves you with like your skin still feeling like skin, and that's super important to me. Okay, so next I am using the NYX HD Studio Foundation, and I'm going to be using a foundation brush like this. I have used a powder brush kind of similar to this to apply my foundation before, and it kind of just gives you different looks. This is going to be for a little bit more coverage in my opinion. So all I do is just put a little bit at a time. So you can see I have like this much on my brush, and I kind of just dab it and just blend it. And when you do your foundation, you can always add more. So you don't need to start off with like a huge glob. You can just layer it to however much you want. And also when you are applying your foundation, make sure that you're always going outwards and upwards. So that is all I'm doing. And this just really kind of makes like a really nice, even, natural look. And then when I do my forehead, I just apply like a tiny bit more. And again, just making sure I do that upwards and outwards into the hairline to really just make sure that everything is very natural and blended. And if after this you feel like you want a little bit more coverage, you can either apply more in just the same way and just kind of layer it, or you can also apply like a concealer, like spot treatments, and you're going to see me do that next for my dark circle. Okay, so I have like two favorite concealers right now, and I feel like both of them give me two completely different looks. The one that I talked about in a previous tutorial, which by chance you guys that are just watching me on YouTube, I do have a beauty blog. I will put the link below in the description bar to my blog, and I really just talk in detail about the products that I use. I also post up my YouTube makeup tutorials on my blog. Also, sometimes I just do like photos of like new products, and I always post links to the products that I use. And there you can kind of like ask me questions or anything like that. So I will post that in the description bar below. But one of the concealers that I talked about in a previous tutorial on my blog was the NYX Dark Circle Concealer. I do really, really love this one. I feel like this one gives me a more natural kind of look. So I will apply that on one of my eyes today. And the other one that I really like that kind of gives me a little bit heavier coverage, almost kind of, I pair it with my highlighter to kind of give me more like a dramatic effect when I'm going to contour and things like that, is a really heavy kind of cream concealer, which is called the Real Deal by Laura Geller in medium. So both of them work fantastic, but they both give you a different look, just to kind of depending on what kind of look you're going for. Okay, so on this eye, I am applying the NYX Dark Circle Concealer, and I just apply it with my finger. I do that with all of my concealers, and you can tell that this one is just more natural looking, and it just kind of looks more like skin. And the other one I'm going to be using is this Laura Geller, the Real Deal Concealer. And I just kind of, it comes out like in a little tube. And I just apply a little bit to my ring finger. And a little bit goes a long way. I've had this concealer forever because you don't need to use a lot. It's very creamy and blendable. And the reason I'm using my finger as opposed to a brush is because when you use your finger, the warmth from your hand just kind of like melts the product better, warms it, so it kind of just like goes onto your skin like butter. And this way you don't have to sit there and blend it for hours. But you can see that they're very similar. But this one is just a little bit heavier. And like I said, I like to pair it with a powder highlighter, which right now I'm using the Ben Nye Luxury Powder in Banana, which you can read about on my blog. But I will show you guys that today too as well. Okay, so next I've already applied my foundation and my concealer, and you guys can definitely see the difference between less coverage and more coverage. My dark circle just looks a little bit more obvious here than it does here. I am really tired too, so I have bags under my eyes. I did not sleep at all last night. My bed is like a rock, so it really sucks. Anyways, I'm going to be showing you the Ben Nye Luxury Powder in Banana that I use to, and normally I would use this to kind of create like I do this when I do like a very dramatic like contour and highlight, but you can also use just a little bit when it's like, when you're trying to create like a more natural look. It is like a loose powder, so I just apply like a little bit to the tip of this brush. And I just kind of use that to blot that on there. It almost has like the same consistency as baby powder. And I will warn you that it's very messy, if any of you have ever used baby powder before. And then I just take like a powder brush and blend that out. And it just kind of creates like a brighter effect. Super, super nice. It does feel very silky and beautiful. Love it. Again, that's Ben Nye Luxury Powder in Banana. And lastly, since I am just kind of showing you, this is just like a complexion video, just basically wanted to show you how to properly apply foundation and the difference between concealers, because there are so many concealers out there. If you guys are looking for something with a lot of coverage, don't just necessarily run to a very heavy consistency or texture concealer. Just because it's really thick and heavy does not mean that it's going to be a better concealer. In my opinion, the lighter the better. If it's really heavy and thick, it can almost make your under eyes look worse. The reason being is because it's just so heavy and it just kind of settles in your lines. Everybody has lines under their eyes. It's just inevitable unless you're like a baby. But anyways, it's going to cake and it's going to be just too heavy against, especially if you have like those really dark circles. It's just going to kind of give you like a reverse effect and it's going to look worse. So try out some different ones. Try out the ones that I showed you in the video, because those are really, really good ones. And I know for a fact, obviously because I use them, that they are good quality concealers and they're not going to be heavy or cakey. So just try them.